What's up, guys? Being a media personality in the NFL seems like a pretty awesome gig. You get to meet all the players, travel to most of the big games, and best of all, watch a heck of a lot of football. For many, it's a dream job, even more so than actually playing the game. Sure, the money may not be as good, but at least you get to be around the game without having to deal with all the concussions, torn ACLs, and other horrible injuries. Not to mention the strict training, endless practices, and everything else. As a reporter in the NFL, probably the worst thing you really ever have to deal with is an accidental slip of the tongue on live television. Sure, accidentally making some sort of sexual reference on air is much more forgiving on the body than being tackled by some 300-pound dude. But as you're about to see, it can still be pretty darn embarrassing. Many NFL reporters have lived through this nightmare on live TV, and we have a bunch of them here. So with that being said, let's take a look at 13 instances where an NFL reporter totally embarrassed themselves with an accidental sexual reference. Make sure to subscribe to TPS and put on your notifications. We post videos all the time. New videos all the time, so subscribe. Sports content. Come on, you know you want to. Number 13. Say what, Al Michaels? The voice of Al Michaels has been a mainstay in the homes of American sports fans for decades. The man has brought us some of the biggest calls in sports, from the Miracle on Ice to Malcolm Butler's championship-sealing interception in Super Bowl 49. But as great as Michaels is, he's still only human. And as we all know, humans make mistakes. Michaels has made a few of them over his long, storied broadcasting career, as you'd expect. But perhaps none were more awkward than this call from a Sunday night game between the Eagles and Panthers. While replaying a rush up the middle by a Panthers running back, Al had this to say.
As the play clock gets reset. Play clock, play clock, play clock.
I think he meant to say play clock. Too bad the NBC crew wasn't able to bleep it out in time. As a result, Michael's slip of the tongue was aired on television all across America. Number 12. Michael Vick gets a name change. There was a time when Michael Vick was a fan favorite in the NFL. Then that whole dogfighting thing happened, and Vick quickly went from being loved to being considered by many to be the league's biggest you-know-what. We can't say the word ourselves. I mean, I could, but I'm not going to. But you know what we're talking about. It starts with the D. Again, we're not going to say the word, but this ESPN reporter really couldn't resist the urge. He just blurted it out on national television. Yeah, crazy.
The state of Virginia is going to seek to indict Vick for dogfighting and killing dogs, both states.
Yeah, she pretty much said what we were all thinking. Number 11, Cris Collinsworth's Mind in the Gutter. Al Michaels has already made an appearance on our list. And now we have his Sunday night partner, Cris Collinsworth. For this instance, Collinsworth probably didn't even realize what he just said. But the rest of America caught on pretty quickly. Have a listen.
Around the edge, but when that guy's coming right in their face, that's a whole different story for the quarterback.
Right in your face? Damn, Chris, there are kids watching these games. Let's try to keep it PG next time. Number 10, Telestrator dong. Telestrators can be a sports broadcaster's best friend. There are all sorts of cool things you can use it for. John Madden was always among the best at utilizing the Telestrator. It's a gift. Some have it and others don't. Randy Cross would probably fall under the latter category. Just look at this magnificent illustration he drew on the screen of millions of televisions across America during a Patriots-Bengals preseason game back in 2009.
A beautiful blood shot there, gives you a good chance to see exactly.
I guess when it's preseason for everyone. Even the broadcasters who are working the Telestrator. Right, Randy? I guess he was feeling Randy. Damn, I'm funny. Number 9. Breeze watched the what? Who knew play clock was such a hard word to say? We've already brought you Al Michaels slip up while trying to spit out the word. Now, we have another phallic reference from an announcer trying to say play clock. In this instance, we take you to a Week 11 contest between the Oakland Raiders and Drew Brees' New Orleans Saints.
Watch the play clock down here, and Drew Brees.
He may have caught his mistake immediately and tried to correct it, but that only made this blunder that much more obvious. Simply put, there's no hiding from a slip-up like that. Number 8, Cam Newton is lacking this special skill. There aren't a whole lot of quarterbacks in the NFL who can make things happen with their legs like a healthy Cam Newton can. The Carolina Panthers quarterback used his rushing abilities to help him nab the 2015 NFL MVP award. But as good as he is, there are some obvious flaws in Newton's game, like his inability to throw a deep ball, or as his NFL Network reporter put it, his inability to deep throw. I'm not saying that. Well, just listen for yourself. Big yikes. Big yikes.
Cam Newton is successful when he's running the football. This team was not successful last year because they didn't have a deep balls because of his.
I guess Cam has some things to work on in the offseason. Number 7, Andrew Luck might need a tissue. Andrew Luck's NFL career had its highs and lows. The former Indianapolis Colts quarterback reached 4 Pro Bowls, and he also earned the 2018 NFL Comeback Player of the Year award. award. Those were the highs. As for the lows, they would come in the form of many different injuries, from back ailments to shoulder issues to that bum ankle that seemed to be the final nail in the coffin. Luckily for Andrew, for one body part he was able to keep clean was his face. Even when he had opposing defenders, well, I'll let CBS's Solomon Wilcots explain.
For the Jaguars, Kevin, today the defense wants to come in the face of the quarterback, Andrew.
Avoiding oncoming pass rushers is already a tough enough task for NFL quarterbacks. Number 6. Too excited, Troy? Troy Aikman has never been one to get overly excited while providing commentary for Fox alongside Joe Buck. But during this 2016 contest between his former team, the Cowboys, and the Washington Redskins, the 3-time Super Bowl champion just couldn't help himself. On the play, the Redskins defender was tasked with spying Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott. After acting as though he was about to rush the passer, the spy then backed off in an attempt to contain the Dallas dual-threat quarterback. You notice how I was able to explain the play in a clean, safe-for-work manner? Well, Aikman wasn't as successful with his explanation of what happened.
Well, this time the Redskins put a spy on Dak Prescott. He starts to come and then he pulls out, and his eyes are just locked. He starts to come and then he pulls out. He starts to come and then he pulls out. He starts to come and then he pulls out.
There are a couple of NFLers, past and present, who probably should have taken Troy's advice. I'm looking at you, Phillip Rivers and Antonio Cromartie. Number 5. Ben Roethlisberger. What? When Ben Roethlisberger broke into the league back in 2014, it took a lot of reporters and commentators some time to get used to pronouncing his name. Most were able to get it down pat within a few weeks. Others, it took a few years. And then there are those, like ESPN's Chris McKendry, who were never quite able to get it down pat. Not sure how McKendry was able to fit a word for a male's private parts in the Steelers quarterback's name, but it happened. And yeah, it was pretty hard to miss it.
Make that conversion. Well, Ben Roethlisberger called it a gut check, and he's right. I mean, everybody has the Steelers atop the power rankings. And
props to Teddy Bruschi for keeping a straight face. Honestly, I'm pretty sure if that was me, yeah, I would have had totally just broken and laughed like crazy. Oh god, good thing I'm on YouTube instead. Number 4, Baker Mayfield is a man of many talents. Apparently, the 2019 season has not been kind to Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns. Things looked so promising after the 2018 first overall draft pick had such a tremendous rookie season. Baker seemed to do so many things right during his first year in the league. Among the areas in which he excelled at was his ability to throw the deep ball. According to ESPN's Matthew Berry, the Browns signal caller was actually one of the most accurate deep ball throwers in the league in 2018. Or at least I think that's what he was trying to say. Unfortunately for Berry, it didn't quite come out as he probably intended.
Baker Mayfield, who last year, once Freddie Kitchens took over, was one of the most accurate deep throwers in the NFL. Sky's the limit here for Odell Beckham Jr.
Number 3, how could they do that to Russ? Despite playing behind one of the worst offensive lines in football for the better part of his NFL career, Seattle Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson has always been a tough dude for opposing defenses to bring down. Defenders rarely get a clean shot at the man they call Danger Russ. So when they do, it's not surprising to see the play-by-play crew struggling to find the right word to describe it. In this instance, I believe the word that the announcer was trying to look for was deck. But as we've seen time and time again on this list, what an announcer intends to say can often differ from what actually comes out of their mouth.
Walsh's career long 56. As he gets ready, and they dick Wilson.
Ah, poor Russell Wilson. Dude got drilled from behind and never saw it coming. Number 2, Von Miller has special plans for Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon sat out the first 4 weeks of the 2019 NFL season as he was hoping to get a shiny new contract from the Los Angeles Chargers, or be traded. Of course, neither of those happened, but Gordon returned anyway. During his time away from the team, the Pro Bowl running back did his best to stay in game shape. But as everybody probably knows by now, training on your own is never quite the same as actually playing in a game against other men in pads who are trying to knock you out of the game with every hit they deliver. This announcer was reminding viewers of that very fact while talking about Gordon's return to the Chargers. But it didn't quite come out as she may have hoped.
Training with your trainer on your own and on Instagram is not, the same as Von Miller coming down your throat. So, gotta see where he is in terms of that.
If this is true, then maybe Melvin Gordon should have extended this holdout until after the Chargers were done playing Von Miller's Denver Broncos. Number 1, Maurice Hurst deals with the worst injury ever. Football is a grueling sport. We all know it. There's no denying it. Football players are susceptible to pretty much any injury you could possibly think of. You name it. And there's probably a football player who suffered from it. But of all the injuries I've ever heard NFL players suffer from, this one that former Patriots running back Maurice Hurst was dealing with has to be the absolute worst. Have a listen.
Injured. The agent claims that at the request of the team, Hurst has been playing with a bulging disc in his neck since the start of the season.
Did you hear that? The man was playing through a bulging manhood. My God. And the Pats just released him. Like, how could they? If I ran a football club and one of my players played through an injury like that, I'd have way too much respect for him to just unceremoniously cut him. Shame on you, New England Patriots. Shame on you. Did we miss any sexual slip of the tongue in our rankings? Join me in the comment section below. If you remember watching one of these slip of the tongues, comment down below, share your story. I'm sure they're all really funny because honestly, it's just fun to watch that on live TV, especially when you see it live. You just feel like part of something special, you know? Love it. Make sure to follow myself and TPS on social media. We post great content all the time. Yeah, I make TikToks, I get YouTube, you know, the whole thing, and then Instagram and Twitter for TPS. We post memes. You know, give it a look. Make sure to like this video because it really helps us out and we really appreciate it. Yeah, go give it a like. Make sure to subscribe to TPS because we post videos all the time. New videos all the time. Subscribe. Of course, thank you so much for watching. I'm Jason Biondo. I'll see you next time.
My knee.